Yeah, we're Tafkuf Pei Zion Sif Beis, right? So we're discussing the Kol Havara, the echo, some sort of different, blew inside a cave or a pit or something like that. Is it a good tkiya, not a good tkiya? So he started blowing in the bore. The Alach b'chutz bor v'gmar. Now, if it's in the bore, it's not good because it's a kol avara. But he was blowing as he was walking out of the bore. Alach chutz bor v'gmar, and he finished. Yaltza, it's okay. Shekol mashashama bein b'ftim bein b'chutz hayakol shofar. Because if your person's inside the bore, so he's not hearing an echo, right? If he's outside the bore, he's not sure if he's hearing the sound of the shofar or the echo from inside the bore. But if he's inside the bore, people inside the bore, it's okay. So if they walk out together, or then that's fine. It's kosher. Haga. Not just him, but anyone who was inside the bore with as they in the beginning of Tekiah and they walked out, and then they would say, some say, the Mishnah brings, and some say even if they didn't leave the bore, because the problem with the Kol Havara, the echo, is only if you're outside the bore and you're hearing the shofar sound coming from inside the bore. But if the person's blowing up outside and you hear it inside the bore, so there's no echo. That's not called echoing. So therefore, that's not called kol havara.
The other way around would be a problem.
But that's right. They say the main issue is if he's blowing in the bore and everyone else is outside.
Or he's outside.
No, if he's outside
and he walks in, he's Yotze, but people who are following him, they might not hear it.
Right. Okay. If they're walking, if they're walking step by step with him, then it would be okay. Right. So again, the question, that's what the Mishnah seems to be. He seemed, he shouldn't do it. But it seems to be makel. For example, I think there was this. I think Nogea. This was Nogea a little bit. It could be when during Corona, when people were blowing. Some people that they're blowing inside plexiglass, or say they blew outside the window. So is that is it because you're in two different reshuyos, or is it because the mitzias is that it echoes and it bounces? So if it's just outside, so there's no reason for it to be a kol avara because it's not bouncing off anything. But if it's so that could be okay. The first sheet, probably what was, but the question, could be there's what to discuss about is that a direct kol or not a direct kol. Shemeya Miksas Tekiah, someone who heard part of the Tekiah, Shlo B'chiyuv, Miksas B'chiyuv. Meaning, let's say he heard it before they started blowing before Alais, and then it continued on into Alais. O She'amar L'Tekiah B'misasek Kivin L'Hotziu De'Chavasi. He was some guy was stam blowing blowing, and he went ahead and he said okay, you believe me v'tako mashach b'ashir tekiah l'yotza. Some guy started blowing, he was practicing early, and then and the guy, he realized, let me just be yotze with that, and he said, here, have kavana for me l'yotza, because you don't split tekiyas up. Tekiah is one whole tekiah. We'll see later on. Also, you can't be yotze one long tekiah for the end of one and the beginning of a different one, or one end of one set, the beginning of a different set. It has to be, the whole thing has to be conscious. Yishayim shiyotza ikashir tekiah b'chiyuv. Some say that no, this is not the same as doing two different sets. That if you had the shir tekiah, then that would be enough. So too, if you heard part of it was kol havara, of a bor who omei b'chutz, and he's standing he's standing outside of Emsa Tekiya Yotza Lachutz. So if there's a shear, so we consider the first part, I guess, is Kvish Eino. It's a kilo, it wasn't, it's not Nechshav, B'chal, and therefore that would be, that would be okay. Also, I was wondering. Also, actually, during Corona, I was also wondering. I mean, it depends on where you were in the streets and whatever. But let's say around here, there's different alleys, and people were blowing in different alleys and different. You couldn't see the shofar blowing. So was that called havara because it was, you were around the corner and someone was blowing in this alley and you were hearing from around the corner? Was that the sound bouncing? Was it the sound of the shofar? And you heard something from further, maybe you walked around the corner. These shilos were somewhat nogea then. The question is, what is it only in the bore? Different things, but obviously there would be a case of, let's say it was in a small like parking lot alley or whatever, and you ran around the corner and then you went in. If there was a shir tkiya, that would have been fine. Mishnah talks about the fact that people should not blow their nose and and start hacking and coughing during the tekiyas, because the whole point over here, the point you have to hear the tekiya be tekiya about itself. If there's other sounds nichnas in the middle, then you can't you can't hear it properly. So people should be careful. Also with kids, mazir, don't bring little kids to tekiyas who are going to scream and shout and whatever from gil chinuch, which means they could sit quietly. He says send it to the mothers, because worst case scenario they don't hear the tekiyas properly. It's only the rabbanon anyway. The question is, do they have to bring them? Not have to bring them? It's only until gil chit, when they're gil chinuch, which is they can sit and listen to a tekiyah without making noise. Then that's the question. You bring them to shul. Tavkuf peiches sif aleph. Zman Tekiya Shofar b'yom v'layla. Zman Tekiya Shofar is during the day and not at night. U'mitzvah mishas hanetzachama ve'elach. And the mitzvah is from netzachama. In Taka, because it's Yom Teruah, and then from that time it's Beinish Rosh is usually Beinish Rosh is definitely not good. Also Shachar here will be makpid, because it could be a little bit of a suffix, but that's really Yom. So therefore, or if we made a mistake, so if it's very clear. The sun goes up, that's Neit, that's Yom, so therefore you should do it after Neit. However, you are Yotzei with the evidence if you were to after the Shachar. If he heard part of the Tekiya before Amud Shachar, we had in the last siman. When Miksasa Achar Shal Shachar Lo Yotza, like we said before, that it's already Miksas. It's a Miksas Shelo B'Chiyuv, and that doesn't work. Hagavi B'Haya Shir Tekiya Asher Shema Bayayin Nizbar, and if there was Shir Tekiya, then again, like we had before, that was the machlokes in the mechaber, and that's that we said it seems to be it should be machmir, but if that's it, that's what you had. That's what you had. Sif Beis Shama Teisha Tekiyos Teisha Shalos Bayom Yatza. It was a very you go to shul, sometimes you just get to the shuls and you get this guy there who can't blow. It takes him 9 hours to blow tekiya 1, and he can't get another note out 2 or whatever. Shama Teisha Tekiyos Teisha Shalos Bayom Yatza. It's split up to 9 hours of the day. Yatza Fil Heb Tisha Bnei Adam. Even if it's of nine different people, then you be, they have one set, and then they have this guy, he couldn't continue, so they found time to find another guy. It was the next hour, and then even if it's 9 different people, then it's okay. Tkiya mizeh, u'tzruah mizeh, tkiya mizeh. Even if you heard, in this shul, this guy can blow the tkiya, this guy can blow the trua well, this guy, this guy can blow the tkiya, so they all do a whole set. That would also be okay. Nishomim dafka kishlo hifsik b'neihem b'kol shofar she'enu roi b'oisavava. Now this gets into complex. You're talking Teisha Anashi Matesha Shas Bayom, that so you heard, Tashrat, 10 and 11 you heard Tarat, whatever, as long as you didn't hear any other sounds of the shofar in between. For whatever reason you have to walk, you have to run around, whatever the reason may be. No, you didn't hear a stam show, a stam from someone else. Or it doesn't have to be that case. Any time you hear a different sound, that a different sound than you're in Tashan, and you heard the Trua, that it would be a problem. There are different. Every shul, every makri has different kapedas. And some of them, if you start, we'll see later on. If he starts a shvar, it's tashat, starts a shvar, and then turns into a trua, and then he starts again. Ishlazim bezeh, whether he should go back to the beginning of tekiah. Because it's a sound that I've only possible that row, that tashat or that tashrat or whatever, only possible that. Again, later on in the Shofar says if you were machpil, that's okay. The only problem is if you went ahead into a different sound, then that would be problematic. Gimel Shama Teisha Tekiyos Mitisha Bnei Adam. You heard 9 tekiyos and 9 different people. Shetaku Kulam Ke'echad. Right? They all, it was a Rosh, Rosh Hashanah minyan, and so you heard, you go to a shtibel and there's, person wants to be, jump from, there's the shtibel hoppers. They jump from, they hear. They can daven the shachris and they while they're davening shachris, they hear the kriyas Torah from a different minyan and kaddish from a different minyan, and they're done. So he stands in the middle of the shtibel and he hears teisha tekiyas from 9 people at once. Lo yatsa. She'en kam pshuta lefanea pshuta lachareh. The problem if you hear everything at once, tekiya, trua, tekiya, shvar, and trua, all at once, you need to have a tekiya in the beginning and tekiya at the end, and all at once it doesn't work. Agavim shnayim, so therefore, agavim shnayim taku ke'echad kol haseder. If you had 2 people, they blew together at the same time. I know that we taught synchronized, right? That's in the last simon. I know that by Akol Avar discussed about Trekoli. Here it's also a shiloh of Trekoli. The Gemara says, let's just finish the Ramah. Let's say it was in the base of Mikdash, and one guy was blowing shofar, one guy was blowing chatzaitzvos, yotza, the yoiv daitei al shofar, because a person will focus on the shofar. The Gemara says it's chavivle. The Gemara says that Trekoli lo mishtamai brings a raya from Zochar v'Shamor, that you couldn't hear 2 things at once. However, the Gemara says by Kriyas Torah also it's a problem. The Gemara says, however, by 3 things it's chavivle. By Kriyas Megillah, because about the mace, it's chavivle. Halel, which is talking about by if everyone says hodu, if everyone says hodu, two people say hodu with the chazan, then you're still able to answer because you're hearing it from the chazan. Your focus is chavivle, and also by tkiyah shofar, because the mitzvah is chavivle to hear the shofar. I'm sure there's other cases of like by kiddush as well. So therefore, you focus. The Ramah Pasins he focused on the shofar, and that's good. Is yotze. Even though we say Trekol lo mishtamei, the Mishabur brings. It's an interesting couple of kudas here. That the Pashup shot in the Ramah is that even as Trekoli, if you focus on that, if Chavivle, so yotze. The Mishabur brings another shita that holds that that if you have dast v'yotze each one, then that's a problem because people can't hear 2 kolos. Trekol lo mishtamei, that's a klal. So therefore, if you didn't, therefore a person has to specifically focus on the chavivle. He has to focus specifically on one sound, and if he didn't, then he's not yotze. So therefore, if you do hear two different sounds, or if by corona there's a whole bunch of sounds going, or by there's different minyanim, and you hear from this window and different minyan from here, wherever you're davening, then you have to be sure that you're specifically being yotze, focused on being yotze with the person in shul, no other sounds, and that would be fine. B'di'evet, if you didn't, you still heard other sounds, it wouldn't passel. It wouldn't passel the thing because other poskim don't bring the schumra of the Mishnah Berurah, and they just say simply, like the Ramah, that even if you're at Chatzitzos, it's still Trei Koli, by Shofar Trei Koli is Mishtamai. Dalet Hayazet Tzarech Pshuta Rishona, V'zet Tzarech Pshuta Achrona. Let's say that one person needs we need to begin one key in the beginning, the other person's holding by the end of a set. Tkiya achas matzia es shneim. So in this case, that's only if they each have kavana for this one tkiya. However, if one guy has a kavana for he has an extra long one. Right, so now I have Kiyas Kavana. They say, okay, listen, have Kavana. The first half is for you people who only heard who are just finishing your set, and the second half is for you people who are starting your set. Or they decide in the shul that we're going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and just have one long Tekiya to be Yotzei both.
The pashas of the case is that some people heard
right
a Tekiya and a Sharm, let's say.
No, Bishop brings us another case. That's the case of Shofar. This is the second case that he said about the hasik chad tkiya lechatzi lezeh and shatach tkiya arucha ish v'kashir shtei tkiyos echad hiskavin. This is lashon meshabur lotzei sad chetziya. That doesn't help. Meaning to tell you on the kavana. A lot of the shofar stuff has to tell you on kavana, and the kavana here has to be that it's one sound. And one guy he could have kavana for the end of a set, and the other guy can have kavana for the beginning of a set. But if to go ahead and to split it in half, that's not going to work. Yontov shel Rosh Hashanah sifhei, Yontov shel Rosh Hashanah shechali yos b'Shabbos. If like it was this past year, Yontov shel Rosh Hashanah which is chal on Shabbos, ein tokim b'shofar. You're not talking about b'shofar because maybe you're going to go ahead and bring it to Alamos, and therefore. Therefore you don't blow. And said at the beginning of the year, a lot of said that we have to this year Shabbos is going to have to be shomer on us because we don't have to get a shofar on the first day of Rosh Hashanah. Before Rosh Hashanah they were talking about it. Kachava that Shabbos. This year we needed the shmir of Shabbos to be shomer on us. Also the taltalo imlo letzarich gufo makomo. And even if if you want to go ahead and you need to, it's on the shelf and you need to get a sefer down. So fine, move the shofar. But otherwise, the shofar is muktzah. And there were always discussions about the gedolim on Shabbos blowing by the kaisel, because they say that the piece, I don't know what, but the blowing the shofar by the kaisel supposedly was supposed to bring Mashiach, bring the geula. And there was a Rav who wanted to do it, and they put him in Chayrim because you don't go against the Gemara and Shulchan Aruch, even though if you want to have beautiful cheshbonos like bring Mashiach, that's not what's going to bring Mashiach. Following Chazal is much will bring. Okay.
Three.
Okay, so we'll start Taf Kuf Pei Tes. Kol she'ena who's roy to blow the shofar. Kol she'ena mechuyev b'davar. Ena motzi achein deichavasam. Any who's not mechuyev. And it's by generally every mitzvah. Someone who's not mechuyev cannot be motzi of the person the mitzvah. For example, if women aren't mechuyavin, it's a seishas my grandma. They can't be motzi someone else in the mitzvah. So too, but tkiyah shofar, a woman can't blow for. We'll see that woman can't blow for a man. But anyone will see a sif beis. Cher shoyte v'katan p'turim. Cher shoyte v'katan are p'turim from shofar. V'cheresh again, a shoyte is there's different shitas. There's a few different simanim what a shoyte is. The Gemara says he sleeps in a basic forest at night. But in general, it's obvious the guy he's Meshuv. They say he could be normal and everything. But then you ask him one thing. Yeah, I'm Mashiach. What do you mean? Of course, I'm bringing the whatever is a big shiloh. That would also be a shaita. That's something. He seems to be normal, and suddenly except the Mashiach is very interesting because Moshe is a tshuva about someone who thought he was Mashiach and he was trying to give a get and he was matir it because he held saying someone's Mashiach is he's not a shaita. It's a certain gaiva person gets in himself and whatever. Although there is such a thing around Yerushalayim called was it Jerusalem syndrome or something, where people think they're David HaMelech or they think they're Mashiach. Which again, the guy dresses like David HaMelech, and used to be many years ago. Walking around with a harp or whatever. It's that is an issue, and so I don't. If he's chayiv, I would definitely shouldn't be blowing the shofar. Put it that way. Cherish afilu medaber ve'eno shomea eno moitzi. A cherish, if he could speak but he can't. See, given the inner shemia, lav bar chiyuva, he can't hear, and I think the Riller discussed about hearing aids and things, whatever. Won't get into that. Hagav shemia ve'inu medaber motzi achein dechavosam. But if he can hear, even if he can't speak, but he can blow the shofar, he can be motzi people because he is the shema kol shofar. The mitzvah is to hear, even if he can't speak. So we'll stop here.